The Sauber-run Alfa Romeo team wants to rejoin Formula One's midfield pack with a new C41. But a big part of its hopes rest on a factor outside of its control: the performance of the Ferrari engine. Last year, Alfa Romeo was the strongest in the three-team Class C group with Haas and Williams, but it scored just 8 points with a best finish of 9th. To do better this year, it not only needs improved aerodynamic performance, but also requires more power. Ferrari has promised to step forward engine-wise this year, to the point where it's at a similar level to Renault and Honda, even if Mercedes will remain the standard setter. But whether it's enough to move Alfa Romeo up the order and give Kimi Raikkonen the chance for better results in what could be his last season remains to be seen. With F1's launch season in full swing but plenty of new cars still to come, subscribe to The Race for an in-depth look at every launch. And if you want to be told the moment a new video is released, just hit the notifications bell. The car. Strangely, the new car is called the Alfa Romeo C41, despite being the successor to last year's C39. The 2022 car project has the C40 designation, as work got underway on that design before the technical regulations were postponed for a year as a consequence of the COVID-19 pandemic. But what it's called doesn't really matter. What's important is whether the team has made aerodynamic gains. At the front of the car, there are obvious changes with a modified front wing, but this remains the heavily inboard loaded concept that Alfa Romeo has used in recent years, albeit with changes to the main plane featuring more aggressive vortex generator transitions either side of the FIA mandated neutral centre section. But the key to the change is the nose, which is where Alfa Romeo has chosen to spend its 2 development tokens. Alfa Romeo was one of the last teams to stick to the less fashionable wide nose concept, so it's no surprise it has made a change here to follow the teams that have gone towards a more narrow design to improve the airflow under the nose to the barge boards. Despite a new nose, Alfa Romeo has only narrowed it a little, so it remains one of the teams with the widest noses. In fact, the team has described it as an advanced evolution of last year's concept rather than an all-new design. Asked by The Race why it did not go more aggressive, technical director Jan Monchot said that this concept worked best for Alfa Romeo and combines with the undernose and bargeboard detail tweaks to boost performance. The team also says there have been tweaks to the front suspension, which is not frozen until the opening race of 2021, although these are not clear from what we've seen so far and may be relating to the internals. Alfa Romeo has also confirmed there are alterations to the rear suspension and diffuser thanks to the aerodynamic rule changes impacting the floor and the diffuser strakes. As with all of the 2021 cars, the C41 also features the cutback in the rear of the floor to create the so-called exclusion zone around the rear wheels. There is also a double T-wing as the team attempts to claw back lost downforce. But unseen is the Ferrari power unit. This is the first Ferrari-powered car to launch, and the hope is that it will be a significant step forward in terms of power. Ferrari team principal Mattia Binotto has talked of encouraging dyno results, so Alfa Romeo will be hoping to make significant gains with the new power unit. A key season. 2021 is an important season for Alfa Romeo, with plenty of loose ends to be tied up for its long-term future. This is the 3rd year of Sauber's Alfa Romeo deal, which is expected not to continue into 2022, while it has also yet to commit to Ferrari engines before the end of this year. Considering it also uses Ferrari gearboxes, this is a big decision, with the possibility it might yet switch to a Renault supply next year, although remaining with its long-term partner seems far more likely. There are also question marks over its driver lineup. Kimi Raikkonen is in the 3rd and final year of his deal and turns 42 this year, so even if he does want to continue in 2022, he isn't going to be the long-term future for this team. In the other seat, Ferrari contracted Antonio Giovinazzi has much to prove given his inconsistent performances. Indeed, he owes his continued presence in the team to Alfa Romeo, which wanted an Italian in the car. The driver pairing has proved erratic over the past 2 seasons, particularly in qualifying when both drivers have often been unable to extract the most from the car in the same session. With a new Concord agreement guaranteeing a more equitable distribution of the revenue shared by teams and the cost cap coming in, the team needs to show signs of strong technical progress to make the most of the opportunity presented by next year's regulations. Team principal Frederick Vasseur declined to set a specific target for this year, but he wants a step in the right direction towards its long-term target of getting to the front of F1's midfield. Technical Director Jan Monchot has also confirmed that there will be upgrades to the car in the early season races, despite the need to maximise the resources invested in the 2022 car. Performance stagnation. Since the start of the V6 turbo hybrid era in 2014, Alfa Romeo has struggled. It finished 8th in each of the last 3 seasons, the best it has achieved in this period, but has slid backwards since a strong 2018 season spearheaded by rookie Charles Leclerc, when it was sometimes able to fight at the front of F1's midfield. The team has good facilities and a strong core of personnel, but it endured some difficult times before the takeover by Longbow Finance in 2016. It's still rebuilding after those tough years, but the trajectory in recent seasons has been disappointing. However, last year's car was better than it appeared, with the weakness of the Ferrari engine holding it back. Alfa Romeo lost less performance from 2019 to 2020 than Ferrari did, and was even capable of occasionally beating the works team last season. It needs to take a step back towards the midfield pack this year, and ideally join that group to prove it has the aerodynamic capabilities to capitalise on the opportunities of next year's new regulations. Ever since the high downforce rules were introduced in 2017, the team has struggled to match both the downforce levels and rate of development of its rivals. It was even behind on driver-in-loop simulator technology, with its system only coming online early last year. Let us know in the comments below if you think Alfa Romeo can be a regular point scorer this year. And if you enjoyed this video, even if you aren't an Alfa Romeo fan, hit the like and subscribe buttons.